Step right up, dummies, and listen to the stupidest sports show on earth with Rodney Newpol and Tim Van Stratton. Yeah. Well, hello, dummies, and a welcome to episode number 111 of the stupidest sports show on earth. My name, as you all know, is Tim the Big Sleep Van Strat, and I'm joined by Rodney Newpol. Rodney, happy Tuesday. How are you?
What's going on, man? What's going on? The Big Sleep. That's an interesting one. Who was that?
It is Google AI says it's Tracy McGrady, but I don't think anyone ever called Tracy McGrady the Big Sleep. But I know the Big Sleep as Trent Grisham, who today accepted the qualifying offer and will be a New York Yankee for the 2026 season. A $22 million 1-year extension for Trent Grisham.
Yeah, I see a record 4 dudes did the qualifying offer, $22 million today.
Yeah.
That's some insane money right there.
Yeah, Grisham did. I saw Shota did for the Cubs. Yeah, a couple others. So interesting. I did not think that Trent Grisham was going to accept the qualifying offer. The outfield market and free agency after you get past Bellinger and Tucker, it's super thin. And like whoever missed out on one of those guys probably is pivoting to Grisham and looking at a 3-4 year deal for him. So I was a little surprised by that, but I mean, it's fine. It's fine. It's coming back. What's going to be the problem, though, is if they're like, oh, well, now that we've used $22 million on Trent Grisham, that means we can't bring back Bellinger or go after Tucker because we've already spent this money here. And if the New York Yankees are gonna be penny pinching because Trent Grisham accepted a qualifying offer, then everyone needs to reevaluate themselves. So
yeah. Well, welcome to the Big Sleep tonight. It's a good night of sports. I'm watching Duke lead Kansas at halftime. The Michigan State Spartans smacked Kentucky around. Champions Classic, one of my favorite just like standalone events in college basketball. It happens every year. Same 4 teams. It's fun. It's fun. I went one year. It was cool.
Yeah, it sounds fun. So how far into the game are they right now?
Halftime, Duke went on a big run right before the end of the first half. Duke's up 8, I believe, at half. They should beat Kansas. Kansas without Darren Peterson in this game, and the Jayhawks struggle really mightily so far this year. So I think Duke will end up winning this game, but it's an 8-point game at halftime.
Yeah. All right, well, we got a great show for you tonight. Thanks, everyone who is tuning in over the next hour. We're going to cover lots of stuff tonight on the show. We got NFL. You have updated your power rankings 11 weeks into the season already, and the power rankings are ever changing. We're also going to do a little bit of a update on my hot NBA takes from a week and how I've already cursed 2 of them.
Yeah.
Already. Little MLB free agency talk that's not just about Trent Grisham accepting a qualifying offer, even though I know that's what the people want to hear. But yeah, and as always, if you want to tune in or comment during the show, you could do so on YouTube, on Twitter, etc. But I want to start real quick, Rodney. So the college football playoff rankings have come out just a little bit before we went on the air. No changes to the top 3: Ohio State, Indiana, Texas A&M. 3 unbeaten teams, and they're still sitting pretty at 1, 2, 3 right now. The big change, of course, Alabama. They were number 4. They lose to Oklahoma. That dropped them 6 spots. So now an 8-2 Alabama team is sitting number 10. Still has them in the playoff.
Yeah.
But obviously, 2-loss Alabama now is in serious danger over the next couple of weeks. And into their place is another SEC team, the Georgia Bulldogs, who at 9-1 are the new number 4 seed. So Ohio State, Indiana, Texas A&M, Georgia. I'm sure you probably had something similar. I'm curious to know if you would have changed that number 4, if you would have put a team over Georgia there.
No, I don't think so. I mean, I like the Texas Tech team out of the Big 12. They were a contender. Lane Kiffin at Ole Miss, they're a contender. but I think Georgia's the best of the group. I'm good with them. I think Notre Dame will continue to make their way toward, they right now, so I'll just move to that. The bracket then looks a little bit different because how did they change that this year? So does the bracket go straight 1 through 4, or does one of the conference champions get a right? Yeah. So like Texas Tech, the winners of the Big 12, I think would end up getting a 3 seed. Go ahead.
Yeah. So the 5 highest ranked conference champions will all make the playoff.
Yeah.
But the committee is using a straight seeding model. So the top 4 teams in the final ranking, regardless of conference championship, will receive a first round bye.
Okay.
So like last year when it was what would it was like Boise State, Arizona State that were in the top 4, but now it's going to be just regardless of whether you're a conference champion or not. Like you win the conference, you're in, but that doesn't necessarily guarantee you a top 4 seed now.
Yeah, so that means Tulane, who slipped in at 12 as kind of the quote-unquote mid-major, for the better term there, they took South Florida's spot. They would play at Texas Tech, and the winner would get Georgia. 9 Notre Dame. See, I think they're going to get a chance to host. They're going to find a way to get into a top 8, I think. And I don't know as if the committee's going to keep them at 8, because I think you're going to want to see. I think you're going to end up seeing Notre Dame away from Ohio State. Notre Dame, Ohio State second round just seems too juicy for a final matchup. But Notre Dame at Oklahoma in the 9-8 game. The Miami against Ole Miss.
So Miami right now is 13 in the rankings. However, they're technically the highest ranked ACC team.
Yeah.
So it would be Miami at Ole Miss. However, Miami faces kind of a harder road to win the conference title, because if Georgia Tech, and I'm reading this now, if Georgia Tech beats Pitt on Saturday and Virginia beats Virginia Tech next week, it'll be Georgia Tech and Virginia playing for the ACC championship, which then the winner there would get an automatic playoff berth. So Miami's in now, but like Miami definitely faces an uphill battle to get there.
So BYU at 11 and Utah at 12 actually don't even get in because of Tulane and Miami getting that spot. Two Big 12 teams there. I find it interesting. Texas is at 17, Michigan 18. Teams with 3 losses. We've talked, and you and I have talked a little bit about the Illini there at 21. I'm guessing those teams are pretty much shut out at this point. I mean, because even USC, they win, they could probably slide into 12, but none of those teams, there's not going to be enough teams slide out that, team at 18, 19, 20 are going to move all the way up. So probably USC at 15, Georgia Tech at 16 is about the cutoff of teams I think have a chance here.
Yeah, I think you're right. So USC, well, okay, so if USC wins out, they're probably good for an at-large bid, right? Because they're sort of in that, like, they're kind of in that tier of like next team in.
Yeah. I think if they win out, because that means they beat Oregon, they win their next, and then they would have to. But winning out would mean they would have to win the Big Ten championship against Ohio State. Or are you just saying win out in the regular season?
I think win out in the Yeah, that's tough though, because then if they lose to Ohio State, that's a 3-loss team.
Yeah, but can you be punished for losing in a conference championship game?
Well, we've seen year over year. Yes, you can.
Yeah.
That's one of the issues with the whole thing. So yeah, if then you have to say, okay, if USC beats Oregon, makes it, let's just say this. Let's like compare them to Miami. USC goes 10-2, beats Oregon, but then loses to Ohio State. That puts them at 3 losses.
Yeah.
Miami could finish at 2 losses. However, and like they would have a win against Notre Dame, who would be at that point higher ranked than even Oregon would be. So it would be technically a better win. But because they didn't make the ACC championship, they would not have the opportunity to get a third loss.
Yeah.
But then they would be sitting there at 2 losses compared to USC at 3 losses. So then how do you put that? Because in theory, Rodney, you're right. Like, teams should not be punished for getting to a conference championship. However, they're always punished when they lose that conference championship.
Yeah, and in this case, it would be the number 1 team in the country. You know, the team that everybody mostly is picking to win back to back. So we can talk more about that in a bit. But the team I find interesting is Oklahoma. Their losses are to Texas and Ole Miss. Now, they do have their last 2 games. Now, is against Missouri and against LSU. Now, I get it. LSU hasn't been great by any means this year, but 2 programs I think could be on the lookout to possibly upsetting them. So I think Oklahoma is a team that obviously they can't afford to lose one of these at 8. They would drop to 11 or 12 or 13 and fall out. So that's a team to watch. And then, of course, Oregon, that Oregon USC game. If USC does win, does that mean Oregon falls out? I think that would be interesting as well. So certainly in these last 2 weeks, some interesting games going to happen.
Absolutely. Yeah. So how many, so we got 2 more regular season weeks and then it's conference championships?
Yeah, basically 2 more. So yeah, it'd be, it'd certainly be interesting to see what happens these last 2 weeks. So this week and then Thanksgiving weekend, there'll be a bunch of games. Yeah, that's it. Because December is basically the conference championship.
I'm looking at Alabama here. So despite Alabama now falling to number 10, according to ESPN research, they still have a 71% chance to make it to the SEC championship. They only have 1 game remaining on their schedule. It's at Auburn in the Iron Bowl.
Well, because they have Eastern Illinois this Saturday.
Yeah. And also they have the tiebreaker advantage against Georgia as well. Georgia's done with SEC play, but loses the tiebreaker to Alabama.
Yeah, but if you're Georgia, do you really care if you don't go to the SEC title game? Like, I don't know if you care.
I don't think so.
You're in a great spot to go to the college football playoff. You've got Charlotte and Georgia Tech these last 2 games. Now, Georgia at Georgia Tech will be interesting. Georgia Tech's obviously pretty good, but even losing to Georgia Tech, Georgia's still going to the conference. They're still going to the college football playoff. Now they would host a game at that point, but that's where I'm like, okay, Alabama, go ahead and win, and we'll stay home, and you guys can go play a 13th game.
Mm-hmm.
Because one more thought on that, so Alabama may have to play a 13th game, and then they would essentially maybe have to win 3 or 4 more to win the national championship. They could play 17 games.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
that's a lot. That's a lot of football.
If Alabama at 2 losses, and then Georgia finishes at 1 loss, but Alabama ends up let's say Alabama goes all the way to the SEC championship and wins the SEC championship, would they be ahead of Georgia?
I could see a situation where Alabama would jump up to 6 and Georgia. That's going to be hard to move Georgia down to 7.
But Georgia didn't do anything to fall down because then also the team ahead of it, one of the teams ahead of it is Texas A&M, and in this scenario, Texas A&M loses to Alabama in the SEC championship.
Yeah. That's certainly going to play out and be interesting to see what happens. But you would think Alabama should be ahead of Georgia, but they won't be because they can't jump that far. I just don't think you can jump them that far.
Yeah. Well, we'll see what happens, but lots of intrigue over the next few weeks with the college football playoff. So, moving on here to NFL, we are 11 weeks into the season, and I don't know what the hell is going on. That's basically where I'm at with the NFL. As of today, I'm going to give you some stats here. As of today. Now, imagine, Rodney, this is something that I told you back in August, that this is how we would look about a week from Thanksgiving, okay? The Kansas City Chiefs, the Baltimore Ravens, and the Detroit Lions are currently out of the playoffs.
Yeah, wild.
The Denver Broncos, and the New England Patriots and the Indianapolis Colts all have 2 losses apiece and are the top 3 teams in the AFC. And how about this one? The Chicago Bears are 7-3 and in first place. And hell, you know what? I'll even throw one more at you. The Carolina Panthers are a half game out of first place in the NFC South.
Yeah. To a Tampa team that obviously has been leaking some oil here, and Tampa's schedule continues to be fairly tough. They got at the Rams this week. Now it does get a little bit softer. Arizona, it gets a lot softer. Arizona, New Orleans, Atlanta, Carolina, Miami, and Carolina. So Tampa's going through that stretch now where it's like, okay, and they're probably going to lose to the Rams and be 6-5. But let me repeat those last games for Tampa again. Arizona, New Orleans, Atlanta, Carolina, Miami, Carolina. But one thing it does do is the top 2 teams play each other twice in the last 3 weeks. That's fun.
Absolutely.
And should mean some stuff.
A Baker Mayfield revenge game against his old team, the Carolina Panthers, as we all remember him fondly.
Well, it's a revenge game against the Rams, too.
Right. It's a very good point. Yeah, I knew there was a reason that I had the Tampa Bay Buccaneers winning 12 games when I was doing my preseason run through. It's because the schedule was very, very favorable for them. If I had to say right now, I would still pick Tampa Bay over Carolina, just because Carolina is so like totally unpredictable. But the fact that it's now going into week 12, the Panthers are 6-5. Like there's a legitimate chance for them to pull off one of the most surprising division titles in recent memory.
Now, I will say Carolina's only going to be favored in one more game the rest of the year because Carolina's schedule at the 49ers, underdogs, with the Rams, underdogs, at the Saints, their favorite in that one. And then it's with the Buccaneers, probably still underdogs, with the Seahawks, underdogs. At the Buccaneers will be underdogs.
Yeah.
So
but
the schedule favors Tampa, but they get to see each other 2 out of 3 weeks.
It does, but there's a lot of home games for Carolina. Like the game at San Francisco is tough, but every other matchup there, like they're at home or they're on the road against a divisional opponent, which like anything can happen in those.
Yeah,
so,
no, I agree. So it should be that division should be fun. Atlanta, man, Atlanta.
Oh, I was I mentioned this to you, I think yesterday. So Michael Penix Jr. is now looking like he's going to be out for, are they thinking the rest of the year with Penix?
Mm-hmm.
So Atlanta last offseason signs Kirk Cousins to a monster deal. A month later, drafts Michael Penix Jr. with a top 10 pick. Yet here we are 18 months later, and they're somehow in quarterback hell. And you would think, okay, it hasn't worked. Surely they can get a nice high pick for next year. Wait a second. They apparently did the New Orleans Pelicans school of draft pick handling, because back in April, the Falcons were like, hey, you know what? Why have 1 first-round pick where we can have 2 first-round picks this year? They gave up their 2026 first-round pick to the Rams to move up, I don't know, however many spots it was, back into the first round for James Pierce Jr., defensive end. So they gave up a first-round pick, which as of today is 8th overall.
Yeah.
And it's probably going to end up being like a top 10 or 12 pick. That's going to go to the Rams, who are 8-2 and the betting favorite to win the Super Bowl.
Yeah. So basically we can say the Atlanta Falcons are the New Orleans Pelicans of the NFL.
That's pretty accurate. Like I feel good about that comparison, honestly. But like, is there a team right now, Rodney, that you think I'm sure there probably is, but like when you think of a team that's just in a horrible position as a franchise right now, like the Atlanta Falcons are way up there for me.
Falcons are up there. The Jets continue to be up there.
But the Jets, but the Jets also now have a bevy of picks from their trade deadline fire sale. They're going to have the ability to draft a quarterback high next year. Like the Falcons have all of their they've mortgaged everything in their two quarterbacks. Neither of them are good. They're both one of them's hurt, and they're not going to have a first round pick next year.
Yeah. But on the other side, I would say I think the Rams continue to be in great spot. I mean, obviously Matthew Stafford's going to be about done, but you've seen an elite of Matthew Stafford. He's probably going to come back for another year. The Rams can afford to draft a quarterback and let him sit next year if you want to, because this is going to be a weak quarterback class. Yeah. We never really know. It's projected. But they could take a guy and they can say, listen, you're a year away or 2 years away, and you're going to sit a year behind Matthew Stafford, who, if you were telling me I got Matthew Stafford as my quarterback next year, I'm like, all right, I'll take it, because he's been really good this year.
He's top 5 in MVP odds right now.
Yeah.
He's been great. Sure. Like I don't see any reason to rush into replacing him. But yeah, like that's the great thing about where the Rams are at. If they want to use that pick, it's like free money right now. If they want to use that pick to draft a quarterback that they can sit and learn and McVay can mold, like you can go for it. If let's say you have a bunch of teams in front of you that already need a quarterback, well, then you're going to get a really, really good player sitting there with the Falcons pick that you can add, whether it's on offense, defense, like whatever, right? Or you could trade it. You can get a shit ton of picks and like you build that way. So they're in such a good position because they don't need that pick, but they have it.
It's almost like Les Snead knew how to be a general manager and just didn't try until he moved to Los Angeles.
Right. Yeah. That okay. I was going to say defensive Les Snead, but this isn't really defending him. The guy who was famously like F them picks, who traded draft picks and went all out. And if the Rams didn't win that Super Bowl, I think we would be evaluating how he's done as a GM very, very differently.
Yeah,
but,
for sure.
Like, so we can't just be like, oh, the guy's a regular Sam Presti with the way that he accumulates draft picks. No, it's always been the opposite with him. But it just so happens that now, they won the Super Bowl. The pressure was off a little bit. This was a deal that Atlanta, I'm sure, came to them and said, oh, we really, really want to move up. And the Rams were like, okay. You're first next year, go for it. And now they're in a great spot because of it.
Yeah, I mean, and in the end, a good chunk of this Los Angeles Rams comes down to Sean McVay.
Yeah, all of it. Yeah. Well, not all of it, but a good amount of it.
The right answer. I mean, all of it's about the right answer. I mean, Sean McVay is tremendous, and we know that. Like, can you believe a couple years ago he thought about giving it up and doing like something else? Like, dude, literally he could coach. He could get any job he wanted in the NFL. Like if he was done with the Rams tomorrow, Buffalo would fire Sean McDermott to give him that job.
How many coaches, if Sean McVay decided, you know what, I want a new challenge. I'm sick of the sunshine. Like I want to just go somewhere else where I'm needed, right? How many current teams would not fire their head coach and replace him with Sean McVay?
Well, I would go as far as saying Baltimore and Pittsburgh would even find ways to say, hey, Mike and hey, John.
Both those guys are already. Those guys might be quietly on the hot seat. Like, of course.
And those are the two most tenured guys. Now, guys like Andy Reid, Kansas City's probably not doing it for Andy Reid. They're probably saying, you know what, we're not doing it. Philadelphia's probably trying to find a way, right? Like,
hold on a second, because I'm told that Nick Sirianni is such a genius that there's no way they could replace him. I mean, their offense has been so amazing. I don't know how you could replace them.
I mean, Philadelphia is probably doing it so shadily under the radar. Like, hey, we're gonna set Nick up for failure somehow here and get you in, Sean. But so my answer is there's 32 teams. You can't count the Rams. So you're down to 31, 29. Probably not the Chiefs. And Probably not the Eagles because they are Super Bowl champions and you just can't. But I think any other team would, right?
Yeah. Did you say Jim Harbaugh? Let's say it would the Chargers
maybe not.
ditch Jim
Yeah,
Harbaugh
probably
to
not.
replace him with Sean McVay?
Not Jim. Yeah, I don't think the Chargers would. So Chargers would be number 2. You could go Chiefs, Chargers. I don't think those two would replace.
Would the Broncos get rid of Sean Payton for Sean McVay?
That's probably another really close one.
It's one of those things where, in theory, they should, but like, I don't think they have the guts to do it.
Yeah, I don't think so either.
How about this? Would the Patriots get rid of Mike Vrabel?
They no, because they've fallen deeply in love with that guy.
Would the Lions ditch Man Campbell?
I think so, because I think you're going to start seeing. I mean, I didn't get a chance to watch much of the Sunday night game, but he just continued to go for it on fourth down. Like, that stuff's going to get old if they don't win, right? Like, the whole I've got big balls, Dan Campbell is cool when you get it on fourth down and you get it on fourth down. But when you have go for it on fourth down in your own zone and you don't get it, it's not very cool anymore. And so, like, Detroit's on the verge of not making the playoff. Like, are they going to? Probably, because they'll probably beat the Bears twice. But, like, if they don't make the playoffs this year, Dan Campbell's not as cute there anymore.
No, I mean, that makes sense. It's his second week. He took over play calling duties. The first go around, it was against Washington. They put up 44 points and destroyed Washington, but like, the Commanders suck. But like, the Eagles have a great defense, and the game's at Philadelphia. So I'm not ready to be like, oh, the Lions, they're getting too cute. They need to change things up, because like, they're going to destroy the Giants. They're probably in good shape hosting Green Bay on Thanksgiving.
Probably.
And then they host Detroit. Like, they got 3 straight home, or not Detroit, Dallas.
Chicago.
So they got 3 straight home games where they're going to be favorites, 2 of them against teams that they should absolutely murder. So, like, I think that we'll be having a different conversation about the Lions a couple weeks from now. But, like, I understand what you're saying. That he's not the total untouchable that maybe he was at this point last year, if there was a great head coach available.
Right.
Yeah, it's always funny, because like, when you have teams that are doing really well, it's like, do we really want to mess something up? Do we want to change the coach out? Do we want to make this moves? That's why, like, the Rams Lions trade, the Matthew Stafford, Jared Goff deal was such a shock, because the Rams were a couple of years removed only from going to a Super Bowl with Jared Goff.
Right.
And they're like, you know what? Not good enough. Not good enough. We're going to make this move. Like that. And a lot of times, like, that move ends up being the right one, even though people question it. So Sean McVay is not going to be available, right? This is just sort of a hypothetical thing. But if this conversation was about John Harbaugh, who could be available, if it was about Mike Tomlin, like, I think that you will have playoff teams that have a serious conversation about, like, hey, so I know that we're in the playoffs. I know that we like this coach, but do we like him more than so-and-so? And I hope we're in that scenario. But okay, any other like NFL thoughts? Just I know the season is just so wacky right now. Buffalo is a huge win against Tampa, but they're still 2 games back of, or game and a half, I should say, of New England, sitting in a wild card spot. The Jaguars were able to get a big win against the Chargers that not just kept them in the playoffs, but also, like, that's a potentially huge tiebreaker for a Chargers team that right now is right next to you in the wild card match. And, like, that could be the difference between going to New England wild card weekend or going to Indianapolis wild card weekend.
Well, I guess my last thought maybe would be, like, Sunday's game, Indianapolis at Kansas City, is a do or die for the Chiefs.
Yeah.
It's a do or die for the Kansas City Chiefs, because they are 9th in the AFC, and they do not own the tiebreaker against Jacksonville. So any tie, they lose that one to the Jaguars. Now, that would be their 6th loss, and yes, 11-6 would still be fine, but you're still playing the Broncos. You're still playing the Chargers still coming up. Like, okay, you split those. Now you're 10-7. 10-7 may not make it in the AFC. So I think it's a do or die for the Kansas City Chiefs against a good Colts team coming off a bye. So that's a big one to watch.
That's a huge game. And yeah, I would say of all those AFC teams right now, I mean, Kansas City is just they're sweating. They're sweating a little bit right now because they have a losing record in the division. They're 2-4 in the conference. Like, they're basically on the wrong end of every tiebreaker right now.
Yeah.
The only tiebreaker that they have that they feel okay about is they have the head-to-head win against Baltimore. But Baltimore's not really thinking about a wild card spot because Baltimore's just a game behind Pittsburgh, and they still haven't played the Steelers yet. They got 2 games against the Steelers that are coming up. And so, like, I'm sure the Ravens are at this point are thinking, oh, yeah, we're just going to take the division, get the 4 seed. And who cares about the wild card? But at this point, like, Kansas City's not winning the division. It's wild card or nothing for them. And like, I could see Kansas City being the 7 seed and being the last team in, gets in by the skin of their ass only because the end of the year super favorable to them. Where, you mentioned against the Colts, that's a tough matchup, but they're at home. But then at the Cowboys, they should win. Hosting the Texans, they should win. Hosting the Chargers. I know the Chargers got them last time, but this is going to be a home game for them. And then you got Tennessee. You host the Broncos, and then the Raiders. Like, it's like they could win out. They could win out.
They could. Yeah, they could. One more team I wanted to mention, and we did mention these guys, but I have kind of a different thought on this. The Chicago Bears. Okay, so yes, they're winning the division. And we talked about how the schedule was going to heat up. But let me ask you this. Is it really? Because it's the Steelers, the Eagles, the Packers, the Browns, the Packers, and the 49ers. What do all those teams have in common? Maybe with the exception of San Francisco. But the next 5, the Steelers, the Eagles, the Packers, the Browns, and the Packers.
I know Steelers. Well, I know Rodgers is hurt. Packers might have Josh Jacobs' injury problem.
Browns, they all have offensive major questions. Steelers, major offensive questions. Eagles, major offensive questions. Packers, major offensive questions. Browns, they don't have quite, they did just terrible. Packers again. Even the 49ers, I would put them into the kind of have offensive questions. Right? Like, okay, yeah, Christian McCaffrey is kind of a pretty good explanation point to your question. But
I'm not too worried about San Francisco. I think they'll be okay. Everyone's healthy for them now. They'll be okay.
But I guess anyway, so the Bears, obviously, this is an obvious statement because you're always your best opportunity to get to the playoffs is winning the division. But you don't want to, like, you've got San Francisco, who you're probably going to be battling for a wild card team with. You're going to have either the Packers or the Lions, and if you don't win the division, you're going to be battling for a wild card spot with. So, like, I just worry for the Bears that if you don't win the division, you're not making the playoffs.
Yeah, and like, I bring up the schedule because the Chicago Bears, through this point of the year, their strength of schedule has been the easiest in all of football. Their strength of schedule has been the teams that they've played have a combined win percentage of 348.
That's not good.
No. And their strength of victory is, of all their opponents, so there's 7 wins, is 285.
Also not
good. 285 strength of victory. It is I think the only team that's worse than them there is the Jets. In their 2 wins, because the Jets beats the Browns, and they beat who the second win for the Jets come?
They beat the Dolphins.
Or was that it? Or was it just
they won? Jets have won 2 games. Jets won back-to-back games.
Oh yeah, Bengals. Yeah, it was Bengals and then Browns. Yeah. We were 3-7 and 3-7 and 2-8 respectively. Yeah, so there you go.
Yeah.
So I keep bringing up like the Bears haven't done it against good teams yet.
No.
And like their only instances of playing good teams, like let's put the Lions there, let's put the Ravens there. The Ravens are at 500, right? The Lions beat them 52-21. The Ravens beat them 30-16. Like totally non-competitive. And the Bears were very, very, very fortunate to win against the Bengals, against the Giants, against the Vikings. Well, yeah, I mean, like they gave up the go-ahead touchdown with 50 seconds left, and then it was Duvernay who ran it back 60 yards. Like, the Bears get credit for making those plays, but also it's like all of the things that could go right for them in those scenarios have gone right.
Yeah.
And we're not used to it because normally it's the opposite. It was like the opposite. Like, honestly, what should have happened is last year's Bears team probably should have been a little better than they were. And this year's Bears team, I think, should be significantly worse than they are.
Yeah.
They're pretty much the same team that they've been, but just like one or two plays here and there have changed the perception of them.
Yeah, and some of it has to do with coaching. I mean, Eberflus, we know really.
Yeah, sure.
Stupid. So yeah, it'll be interesting to see what the Bears do. I mean, their game against the Steelers is a big one too, because both those teams are divisional leaders, and both of them have teams breathing right down their necks.
Yeah, game is in Chicago too. Is Rodgers out? Is it broken wrist, or I know it's his non-throwing hand.
It was not broken, I don't think, right? So we're gonna see what the latest is. It's early in the week, so we may not know injury report quite yet. Let me see what the latest they said here was.
Yeah, Tomlin's saying that he doesn't need surgery to repair a fracture to his left non-throwing wrist. Didn't rule him out for this Sunday, and they're just basically they're just keeping it close to the chest right now and saying, hey, we're just taking it day by day. So we'll see. We'll see what happens. I mean, the Steelers are such a hard team to figure out.
Yeah. Mason Rudolph would be in line then. He started 18 passes all year.
Ooh. I'm good if Mason Rudolph never appears on my television screen again. I'm good. I'm good with that. Nothing I need to see from him. All right. Shall we get to your power rankings?
Yeah. End of week 11 power rankings. Actually going to post the official rankings here after the show. Got them done, but didn't get them quite posted on Twitter. I'll get that tonight. But I do have them here, and we're actually just going to stay the same at the bottom 5. All 5 teams lost. I did not see anything too straight. Well, I didn't see anything too striking that means any of these teams could move. So Tennessee is still 32. Now, they competed with Houston, but still not a very good team. I mean, this may be the only team that could be worse, and that's the Las Vegas Raiders. They looked terrible last night.
What happened, Dallas. Man? What happened with the Raiders?
Well, Ashton Genty's not really even getting any carries, and then when he does, he's getting hit behind the line of scrimmage. Absolutely disgusting play there. Browns, Shadur Sanders was 4 for 16 when he came in. That's not good. He'll probably start this week. Dylan Gabriel concussion, that usually means you sit. Shadur probably going to play against the Raiders. So a battle of 30 and 31 in Vegas coming up on Sunday.
Yeah. I have no idea what to make, because it's like the Shadur Sanders thing. They're like, oh well, he hasn't had any first team reps in practice, blah blah blah. So it's like, okay, well, is that on coaches then not preparing him to play, or is it just because he was so far back in the depth chart? They're like, yeah, this guy's not ready at all to play for us, so why bother?
Well, reserves don't really get time in practice, right? Like they don't get snaps in practice.
That's what I thought when he opened up the year as the 4th string quarterback, but. Right. Like, he's been the 2nd string guy, I think, for a little while now. So it probably would have done them some good to give him some reps. But alas.
Yeah, but you're like the scout team quarterback. Like you're doing other things. Yeah. But regardless, he wasn't very good. But I'll stay in the power rankings. 29, your New York Giants have lost 5 in a row. They're cooked this week. They go to Detroit. They're cooked. And then they go to the Patriots. So good luck there. Then they get the bye week. Might be able to beat the Commanders.
How is it that the Giants have a last place schedule and ended up with the hardest schedule in the NFL?
Yeah, cool, huh?
Awesome. Awesome. Great sport. Great sport, everyone. Anyway, what's 28?
Saints are 28. Still bad team. Still bad team. Which means these teams are not in the bottom 5. So just thinking off the top of my head, some teams that deserve to be in the bottom 5 would be like the Jets, the Commanders, the Falcons, Cardinals, Bengals. Dolphins have made their way out. They won 4 games, so they're out of the bottom 5. But I'll stick with Jets 27, Commanders 26, Bengals 25. We'll go Cardinals 24, Falcons 23. So those are the bottom 10 teams in the league right there. All right, let's go to the top 5. Finally, they finally made it in. This is the first appearance in the top 5 for the New England Patriots. I finally moved in.
What reverence you have for the New England Patriots.
Yeah. Well, you can't keep avoiding them, apparently. New England Patriots, number 5. I'm going to keep the Chargers 4. They were 4 last week. I'm going to keep them 4. Yes, they had an impressive. No, they lost, didn't they? They lost. I probably should.
Yeah, they got absolutely murdered by Jacksonville.
Yeah, I have the wrong team here. This should be. Hold on. This is great radio or great show.
A live edit right now, folks. This is history. I got to be honest. I was a little stunned that you still had the Chargers, and I was like, all right, this is just stubbornness right now from Rodney.
The Denver Broncos are number 4.
The respect. So the Patriots and Broncos, first time for both of them. Yes, amazing.
It is. They both move into the top 4. So Patriots 5, Broncos 4. I've moved the Rams up to 3.
They're good. Good team.
Probably could be 2, but I'll keep the Colts at 2 or move the Colts to 2, and the Philadelphia Eagles 1.
The Philadelphia Eagles have, they're following the same trajectory that the Chiefs did last year or maybe 2 years ago, where like the Eagles used to be unstoppable on offense. And then there became a point where the offense just came to a screeching halt, and they just had to win these games by any means necessary. And it was disgusting and ugly, but they found a way to get it done. That's where the Eagles are at right now. It's the same that happened to the Chiefs, where they used to be beautiful, and then it became disgusting. But they win football games, and that's all that matters by the time they get to January. How you win those games.
Rounding out the top 10 is interesting because I think I'm going to go with Bills 6. Lions 7, Seahawks 8, Ravens 9, Chargers 10.
Ugh. Where are the 49ers? You're going to tell me you're going to take the 5-5 Baltimore Ravens over the 49ers right now, fully healthy?
I mean, the Ravens have been playing pretty good for the last month. You know I'm a sucker for Derrick Henry.
No, I know you are. And hey, did he get 100 yards and a touchdown, right?
No, but he didn't get 2.
But he didn't get 2. Yeah. How much would you have won, or is it too painful to share?
Just shy of 1,000. Just shy of 1,000 for my Christian McCaffrey. Who was the other one that needed 2 touchdowns? Somebody else, and Derrick Henry all getting 2 touchdowns each. I was 1 touchdown short. Derrick Henry didn't get in. They threw it to Mark Andrews instead. Anyways, that's my power ranking.
So much worse, Rodney. They didn't throw to Mark Andrews. They handed the ball off to Mark Andrews. Did a little end around or whatever, and then he went 30-something yards to the house. That's even worse. Yeah. All right. Anyway, okay. So last week, this is just a quick update. Last week, I gave some NBA hot takes. These were bold predictions for the season. So I had a few of them. Among them, I said the Thunder would win 70 or more games. TBD on that one. So far, though, still looking good. I gave a prediction about the amount of teams in the NBA having records above 500. That'll be fewest in league history. So TBD on that. However, I can confidently say I have already Tim cursed 2 of my bold predictions. Number 1, the Miami Heat, I said they would be a top 3 seed in the Eastern Conference. At that point, they were looking really good. This was after they had defeated the Cleveland Cavaliers in overtime. Since then, they lost back-to-back games. They did win last night against the Knicks by 2 points, but now the Miami Heat are 8-6 and in the 7th seed in the Eastern Conference. So TBD on that one. However, my other prediction was that I said Victor Wembanyama would become the youngest NBA MVP in history. He then proceeded to strain his calf. He's out for multiple weeks. I don't know how I do it.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, 2 of them already in 1 week.
I don't get it, man. I am on LeBron James watch for you. LeBron's having his season debut. He has 0 points. He's only taken 1 shot. He did try 3. So he tried to get it for you, but 0 points. The Lakers are already down 10 to the Utah Jazz. So
he's going to come out of the game here soon because he's going to sit
probably
for the rest of the quarter.
Yeah. I hope you didn't bet a lot on it. I mean, it was plus 230. For those that don't know, Rodney put a bet LeBron James to score 6 or more points in the first quarter of his first game of the season, hosting the Utah Jazz.
For us.
Okay, so it's plus 230?
Yeah, it was like originally like plus 165 or something, and they bumped it to plus 230 to be so we could be their Huckleberries. And I was. And see it to my money here because I don't think he's going to play much longer, and he's not going to get 6 points before he comes out. Not going to happen.
If he has 0 halfway through the first quarter, it doesn't look very promising right now. No. Sorry.
Thanks. Good bet.
Rodney. All right. Real quick, couple things before we get to our best bets for betting. So it was MLB free agency is continuing. There's already been a couple small signings. Qualifying offers went out today, as we discussed at the very beginning of the show. But I just wanted to do a quick little game with Rodney, give him 5 names. And this is what I want you to do here, Rodney. I want you to give me the team that you think this player will go to. And it could be like he could just resign, right? So either the team that he is going to go to, and then give me a team that you were like, hey, you know what? This would actually be a fun. Like, this is a possibility. I think that this would be a good, unexpected surprise. Like, could be fun to see him go there. So let's start number 1. He's the big free agent. He'll more than likely command the largest contract of anyone. Kyle Tucker. So where do you think Kyle Tucker will sign? And where do you want Kyle Tucker to sign?
I think Kyle Tucker is going to sign with the New York Yankees.
Interesting.
Where would he be fun to sign? He'd be fun to sign with the Seattle Mariners.
Yeah. I mean, like the Mariners re-signed Josh Naylor. That's a team that, like, the Mariners randomly will have huge splashes. Like,
yeah.
It's not like they're a franchise that's totally immune to big free agent signings. Like, this is a team that famously gave Robinson Cano a massive contract to poach him from the Yankees. Like, they've made big signings before in the past. You fit a need, be massive there. Yeah, that's an interesting one. All right, I think Kyle Tucker will be a Los Angeles Dodger. And I would like to see Kyle Tucker. I think it'd be fun to see the Detroit Tigers get in there and make a big swing to say, hey, you know, we still have Skubal. Like, this team's still really good. Let's see if we can add a huge bat in the middle of this lineup long term. Like sort of the new age Mickey Cabrera for them. So I think the Detroit Tigers would be a fun place for Kyle Tucker to sign.
Okay.
All right, number 2, Bo Bichette nearly won a World Series with the Toronto Blue Jays. Where do you think he's going to go? Where do you want him to go?
I think he's going to go back to Toronto. I don't want him to go here, but an interesting spot would be the Chicago Cubs. I don't want him to go there.
presumably to play second or third base. He's not going to play short.
Yeah.
He's not going to replace Dansby Swanson. So probably third base, right?
Third base. Isn't that where Michael Busch is playing?
Is Michael Busch their first baseman?
Okay, it's Matt Shaw. Yeah.
Yeah, probably Matt Shaw would be their third baseman. So
yeah. So, but I think the Cubs could make a play for him, but I think he'll end up back in Toronto.
So you said you want Bo Bichette to be a Cub? Is that what you?
Not really. Not really. I just think that would be an interesting one.
Yeah. All right. I also have Bo Bichette re-signing with the Toronto Blue Jays. But I think a fun landing spot for Bo Bichette would be, let's do the San Francisco Giants. Let's give them a big offseason acquisition to compete with the likes of San Diego and the likes of LA. There, send him out west. All right, number 3, Alex Bregman. He's one of the players who did not accept the qualifying offer. He opted out of his deal. He's back in free agency. Where do you think Alex Bregman's at?
I think the Cincinnati Reds are going to sign Alex Bregman.
Woo! I would love that. Wow. I would love that.
I mean, they could use a nice third baseman.
Yeah, they got Ke'Bryan Hayes, who can't hit for shit.
No. But I mean, you got the DH in the National League, so you could use Bregman at DH if you needed to. But yeah, Cincinnati Reds, why not?
So I'm gonna say that's you think he'll go there and you want him to go there.
I don't really want him to go to the National League Central. I don't really want him to go to National League Central. Where I want him to go is the hell. Just go back to the Houston Astros. Just go back to the Houston Astros. Just go away.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm kind of tired of Alex Bregman, to be honest with you. Like, I feel like he's been around forever. I would guess him leaving Boston means that they're going to be much more open than Nolan Arenado getting traded there.
Mm-hmm. All right. So Bregman, I think he resigns in Boston, but I think it'd be fun if he, you said Kyle Tucker for Seattle. I think Seattle could be a good spot for Bregman. So who was Milwaukee's third baseman this year?
Oh, they got all sorts of young guys.
They do have a plethora of young guys, don't they? Maybe how about this? What if Philadelphia is like, hey, you know what? Let's trade Alex Baum. They're gonna have some guys that are free agents, free up some room. Maybe they make a huge splash and they get Alex Bregman and they put him in the infield. They add him to a team with Bryce Harper and Trey Turner. Like that's not a bad idea for Philadelphia.
Right. Yeah.
All right. Pete Alonso. Do you think Pete Alonso leaves the Mets? I'm starting to think he does. Where are you at?
I think he will as well. I think the feelings may be a little mutual on that they're kind of ready to move on. He's kind of ready to move on. Give me he stays on the East Coast and is signed by Baltimore.
That's who I was gonna say. I was gonna say that was my prediction for Pete Alonso, Baltimore Orioles. Like that, I don't know why, but that just feels like a move that is like that would be within their price range. Like that gets their first base locked up. They get that middle of the order bat. They're back in contention. Like that's who I was thinking for him. Exactly.
Yeah. Where I would like for him to go, I'd like for him to go to Chicago White Sox so they'd have an interesting, exciting player to watch.
What about your St. Louis Cardinals? At any point, have you considered any of these players as realistic St. Louis Cardinal targets?
No, because we haven't got the number 5 yet.
Oh. And number 5 I see is Kyle Schwarber, a former Chicago Cub, a current Philadelphia Philly, second in MVP voting to one Shohei Ohtani. Where's Kyle Schwarber going to end up?
I think he's going to stay in Philadelphia. I would love to see him in St. Louis.
Wow. And just lock him up DH. So you have Kyle Schwarber and Wilson Contreras.
Well, yeah, I mean they've got I mean you certainly could send Wilson Contreras out. I still don't think that's off the table. I think they certainly could look at trading Contreras. But yeah, I mean, yes, that would be that. Both those guys would be in there, and both of them kind of look like a DH role. But I don't. That doesn't really bother me. Go sign the better player, and that is a better hitter, the better offensive weapon, and that is Kyle Schwarber.
All right. Let's wrap up the show here. Got a couple things. I know you're locked in on the Kansas game right now. What's the update there? What's the update? What's happening with Kansas Duke?
Locked in. It's 69-64 Duke with 4 minutes to go. So again, they're probably going to win this one. Also, LeBron came out at the 6-minute break of the quarter. Yeah, he's not coming back in for a while. It's 25-19 Jazz.
Le bust. Le overrated. Le will never be better than Jordan.
Keontae George has 13 early points for Utah. He's been good.
Yeah. Yeah, no, not to get too bogged down in Utah Jazz talk, but I don't hate what they're building there.
Yeah. No. There's a lot of young talent there.
I'm not looking at them saying like, oh, that team's about to win a title, because like they're gonna have to face SGA and Wemby and Jokic out west, but like they got some players. Yeah. They're not a total embarrassment. Okay, speaking of embarrassment, let's get to our best bets for betting here. Rodney was very, very confident. We did our radio show on Sunday, and he's like, this is the week. I'm going to catch up. And, well, let's just get to it. So you did start off good Friday night. A little college basketball action. Arizona State covered the 13.5 points against Gonzaga. What'd you say? They lost by 12? So
12.
Good win for you there. Bad start for me. I had the San Antonio Spurs covering the 4 points at home against Golden State, but they got curried. Curry dropped almost 50 on them, and Golden State ended up beating them outright by 1 point. So Rodney got a good little start, and he continued. Illinois, a 15.5 point favorite over Maryland once again, and you delivered here. So 2-0 start for you. I was able to get one back. I bet your St. Louis Blues and the Philadelphia Flyers would get into a shootout. The game was 5-5 midway through the third. So, again, I don't know why this was over 5.5 goals. People haven't been watching the St. Louis Blues in Vegas, apparently. But, yeah, this was an easy cash here. So, on to college football now. Rodney's first loss, Alabama losing to Oklahoma. I fell for this one bad. I knew it on Friday. I was like, I'm totally going to get caught here with my pants down. Louisville, 2.5 point home favorite against Clemson. I was like, this is too good to be true. And it was. So 1-2 start for me before we got to Sunday. Well, Rodney, what happened here? The Vikings, so their touchdown, it put them, were they at by 2? So even if they would have won the game, you would have lost the bet.
Correct.
JJ McCarthy kind of sucks, huh?
Yeah, he's not very good. He's not real good. He's the kid that basically his fourth quarter of his first game is his highlight of his career.
Yeah, I'm starting to be out on JJ McCarthy. Like when you have that coach and those receivers, and you still can't look good, like. There might be something wrong with you.
Yeah.
This was a risk, but I had faith in my New York Football Giants, led by interim coach Mike Kafka. The Giants were actually winning for good portions of this game. It was a little bit back and forth, had a chance to tie it late if it wasn't for a Jameis Winston end zone interception. But the Giants ended up losing by 7 points. 7 points. Well, so honestly, the interception wasn't Jameis's fault there. The receiver, Jalen Hyatt, just gave up on the route. But Winston did have several throws that probably should have been interceptions over the course of the day. But the Giants did cover the 7.5 points, so we'll take that.
How did How did the process of Jameis with Packers defense work out?
Yeah, well, Jameis had just the one interception. The Packers gave up 20 points, so I don't think the process worked. But as we know, if you like the process, that means you're a winner. So good job. Good job, everyone. Good job, process guys. All right. And then your last best bet for betting, yeah, the Ravens. I'm telling you, man. If the Ravens can't blow out the Cleveland Browns in that type of game, then I don't know. I don't know what's up with them. And yet you want to put them over the 49ers in your power rankings.
They just keep winning though now.
They're 5-5. That does not keep winning.
They were 1-5.
Were they 1-5? Were they that bad?
They've won 4 in a row, right?
Yeah. Yeah, that's true. That's true. All right, and then my last one, the Kansas City Chiefs took the L here. This line, I got it at 3.5. I moved to 4.5, but still lost. They lost outright to the Denver Broncos. So both of us, Rodney, finished 2-3, meaning that you are now 28-32, and I'm 32-28. So I still got a 4-game lead on you in the best bets for betting, which drives you crazy. I know that this drives you crazy.
So. Yeah, it's not great. It's not great. I was a game up on Sunday. Thought maybe I could gain another one or two, and actually lost one. So yeah, then I had my chance, and I let it off the hook.
All right, let's get to our Mount Rushmore of 11s before we get out of here. We've already gone late on the show. NFL, there's a lot of good 11s I see. So technically the number one guy is Drew Bledsoe, but I don't know. Drew Bledsoe being on the Mount Rushmore, I don't love. What I do love, though, are a couple of receivers. There's Larry Fitzgerald, who I still to this day have never seen drop a pass, and Julio Jones. Like, 2 Hall of Fame level receivers. I think both of them are deserving of spots on the Mount Rushmore.
Yeah, that's fine. That's fine. I'll move to Major League Baseball where I've got a guy I think deserves. So we're gonna have one spot here left. I think Barry Larkin deserves to be in this one. He was the number 11. Now you can also, there's other guys in Major League Baseball. Edgar Martinez. I'm going to keep him off the Mount Rushmore, but he was at 11. That was a very good one. So I think we can be okay with Larry Fitzgerald, Julio Jones, and Barry Larkin. But now we're going to have to settle for one more for whatever we have left.
You also got a current baseball player who wears number 11, Jose Ramirez. And we don't do a lot of stuff with current players, but that's definitely someone who I think is at least in the mix. I don't know if he'll get a spot, but he's at least in the conversation.
Yeah, I mean we haven't scratched the surface of NBA yet, right?
Yeah, well, Ryan Kalkbrenner's number 11, so I think that has to be someone.
One of the 8 men that changed your life.
Yes, exactly. Amen, brother. Kyrie Irving's number 11. Wore it since he left. So I can't remember. I think he was 2 with Cleveland, but then he left. He's been 11 ever since, and so that's at Boston and Brooklyn and Dallas. So that's a pretty decent one. I see Brooke Lopez on here. Bob McAdoo was number 11. I'm trying to see if there's like a super standout for NBA.
Yeah, his name's Isaiah Thomas.
Yeah, I think Isaiah Thomas has got to be the pick, huh?
Or you could go former Jayhawk Jock Vaughn.
We could go that. Of all the options, that is one of them. Trae Young is number 11. I just stumbled across this one. So Isaiah Thomas, I think, is probably the play. But how do you feel about Klay Thompson?
Klay Thompson's a good player. I think Isaiah probably had a better career than Klay Thompson. We know more about Klay Thompson. Tristan Thompson also wore 11 for 1 year with the Pacers.
NHL, I wish we had hockey guy Dan here to give me a nice summarized list. I see Daniel Alfredson, a longtime Ottawa Senator. I think he was their captain, if I'm not mistaken there. Mike Gartner, Hall of Famer, played throughout the 80s. Yeah, I think that about covers it here. So, okay, where do you want to go with the Rushmore?
So a guy that's near and dear to our heart, Naz Reid, wears number 11. And
I do love a good Naz Reid.
Yeah, one more I found interesting. There is a John Pritchard, a Kevin Pritchard, and now Peyton Pritchard, all wore number 11. And one more while I'm on it, John Tay Porter also wore number 11.
A historic player. Okay. All right. There is a hockey player that we probably need to mention.
Okay.
Who I think if we didn't at least consider him, then Dan would sense it and he would come and kill us. Mark Messier wore number 11 throughout his entire 25-year career in the National Hockey League.
Oh, snap. We could be in trouble here.
Oh, yeah. Hit me.
Well, because you got Larry Fitzgerald, Julio Jones.
Maybe we go one player per sport then.
I think so, but you got to go Larry Fitzgerald over Julio Jones.
I would.
Yeah. So yeah. Larry Fitzgerald, Isaiah Thomas, Barry Larkin, Mark Messier. Pretty good Mount Rushmore.
That's a good one. I feel very, very good about that. And there's a couple guys we didn't mention, like Phil Simms was number 11. We didn't even mention him, but yeah, we're at the point now where it's like you could confidently take a really, really great player from each of the four major sports and build your Rushmore. And I think we've done that.
Yeah, no, I think it's a good one. I think it's good find on Messier.
Oh yeah, Dan would have killed me. He would have killed me if I omitted Mark Messier from that. But no, he's very deserving. Yeah. All right, let's get out of here. Couple of reminders real quick. You could follow us. Chances are you were watching the show on Twitter, so give us a follow at Stupid Sports Show. And all 111 episodes of the podcast are available. Spotify, Apple, iHeart, pretty much anywhere you get your podcasts. Make sure to listen, like, subscribe. You'll get notified whenever new episodes drop. And Rodney is continuing to send out picks every single day. Sign up for the Stupid Sports Show on Substack to get those picks sent straight to your inbox. And I think that about does it, man. This was a good show. Long, but powerful stuff. So,
yeah, we'll be back Friday morning, kind of breaking down weekend stuff. That's what we do on Fridays. We get you ready for the football weekend, and we'll be a week away from Thanksgiving at that point. So, looking forward to Friday morning, 8 a.m.
Beautiful. All right. Well, he's Rodney Newpel. I'm Tim the Big Sleep Van Stratton, and this has been another edition of the Stupidest Sports Show on Earth. See you guys.
See ya.
Step right up, dummies, and listen to the Stupidest Sports Show on Earth with Rodney Newpel and Tim Van Stratton. Yeah.